We've got this rhetoric in the papers. We've got the Iran sanctions. We've got the attempted assassination, apparently, of the leader of Venezuela. And all we get is a NASDAQ that's in the middle of a 5-day winning streak and a Dow that continues to grind higher overnight. Do you have any idea why?
Well, I think it just comes down to corporate earnings. We're getting strong corporate earnings reports. We're amidst in global instability. That's really nothing new. But what is new is this year we're having 20 to 25% corporate earnings growth across the board. You have some global economic growth. It's not as coordinated as in past years, but it's strong. And then we had a jobs number. That jobs number was really solid. To have 2.7% wage growth for the third consecutive month, we haven't had a string like that since 2009. Unemployment was down. The average length of unemployment was down. Minority unemployment was down. It was so solid across the board. I think it underpins a strong U.S. economy, and that's good for U.S. stocks.
Yeah, we've got 9 Dow stocks that are up more than 10% this year. The average small cap 600 stock is up over 13% year to date. It has been quite a run, but of course, it's good news in the past. It makes it harder to make money going forward because things are also high. So, Mark, where are you still finding some value for your clients?
Well, you're right. It is a valuation game. Value stocks actually have been trailing the growth side. We saw a pullback in FANG last week. But for the most part, value has not fully participated in this. Finally had a little bit of a bump in the big money center banks. But for how strong they are and the fundamentals, loan loss reserves are down. They benefit from higher interest rates. We think that U.S. financials are very well positioned. And you mentioned small caps. Small caps earn 75% of their earnings on the U.S. market versus the S&P 500 companies were about 50%. So they're less sensitive to all this tariff and trade talk. So we still think there's some opportunities in the market, and I think valuations are the key. And we're looking at what's been lagging, which are, until this year, small caps and certainly the value side.
Are you buying banks?
Well, it really depends. The small cap banks have been huge beneficiaries of this tax cut, and so have the regional banks. And we've seen movements there already, and they may have reached a little more of a full valuation. When you look at money center banks and you look at Citicorp, for example, it really hasn't fully participated as we would have hoped. Some opportunities like that on a valuation basis.